All right, so now we're going to take a look at an equation that's given to us and then some transformations. So we're bringing back in some of the transformation stuff that we just looked at again, and also in the first unit. So first thing it says, here's our equation. We're giving you vertical stretch by a factor of 2. I'm going to pull out the a value, which is 3. Vertical stretches mean we are going to multiply our a value by whatever that stretch is. So I'm going to multiply our current a value by 2 to get us a new a value of 6. Then I'm going to pull out my vertex. Because if you leave the vertex in, chances are you will end up adding or subtracting incorrectly. So pull out the information. Remember to switch the sign of your h value. And then we're translating left 3 and up 2. So if you're using the table form for your graphing, you're just doing the same exact thing you would do in your table, but to 1 point. So we'll subtract 3 and add 2 to get a new vertex of 2, 6. Now we're going to put everything back into the equation. So it'll be y is equal to 6 times x minus 2, remember to switch the sign, plus 6. And that is your final equation. So not terrible. You just have to make sure you apply the transformations correctly to that original equation. Now our last one, we're going to get into an introduction to regression. It says to write the equation of a parabola in general and vertex form that passes through the following 3 points. One of your options, I'm going to call this x1, y1, x2, y2, and x3, y3. One of the options actually for solving this is to set up a 3-variable system. But we know how long solving a 3-variable system takes. So we're going to let the calculator do the work for us with that 3-variable system. We are going to go to stat 1. And I'm going to do this with you right now. So you're going to click the stat button and select number 1, which is edit. And it's going to pull up 2 lists. Well, it's going to have more than 2 lists, but we're going to be entering our information into list 1 and list 2. Now, I actually purposely kept things in my list to show you how to clear them correctly. You won't have to do the first part right now, but you will have to do it with the practice. So hit the stat button. The stat button is right under the delete button near the arrows. So make sure you're on this screen. We're going to select edit, so I'm going to hit enter. Most likely your lists will be cleared. Make sure you have list 1 and list 2 on the top. If you have information in one of your lists, this might be part of the video that's worth re-watching when you're ready to do this on your own. You're going to go up to the top and you're going to hit clear. Clear is right above the caret button, so hit clear and enter, and we'll get rid of everything in the list. If you by accident hit delete, now I'm going to show you what happens if you do that. Don't do this with me. If you hit delete, it gets rid of the list. You need list 1 and list 2. So I'm going to put it back in by doing second delete, which will insert, and then I'm going to do second 1, which puts back my L1. So that's a technique to put it back if you need to. Most likely you will have me do that for you, and I will remind you of how to clear this correctly so that you don't get rid of it before quiz or test time. All right, now that we have that information, you're going to put your x values, 5, 6, and 7 in list 1, and your y values of 3, 5, 11 in list 2 in order. So we'll type those in. Just do 5, enter, 6, enter, 7, enter. And then same thing with list 2, 3, enter, 5, enter, 11, enter. The lists need to be even in order to make this work. Now that we have everything in there, we're going to hit our stat button again, select calc. So we're going to scroll over to the calc menu, and we're going to pick number 5, which is quad regression, because this is a quadratic. Okay, And that's going to give us our general equation. So again, hit your Stat button underneath, right underneath delete. Scroll over 1 to the calculate menu, and I'm going to just scroll down slowly, but you could also select number 5. Again, quadratic regression, hit enter. It should have list 1 and list 2 already populated in there, so you won't have to do anything about that. We'll go to calculate, and it gives you all the values that you're putting in for A, B, and C. So it's going to be y is equal to 2x squared minus 20x plus 53. And we're going to use that information to put it into the vertex form like we did for graphing purposes. So get a little more practice of that. We're going to be doing x equals negative b over 2a, which is negative 20 over 2 times 2. That's going to give us 5 for x value. Actually, interestingly enough, when we do switch it over again, the a value does not change, so we can start filling this kind of in as we go. And then it's going to be minus 5. And now to get your y value, or the k value, we just need to plug the 5 back in to that original equation. So 2 times 5 squared minus 20 times 5 plus 53. And this is all to get your vertex form. And if we calculate that, I'm going to actually go right to the calculator. Once you start typing something in, just FYI, that information goes away. So it's important to record that first, otherwise you have to do the whole calculation part again. Okay, so we get y is equal to 3. So I'll put a plus 3 at the end for our vertex form. Now I'm actually going to get you set up for doing your practice later on. We'll go and clear our lists together so you have a fresh list to try this on your own. Go back to your calculator. Now that we have everything set, hit Stat, Edit, so just hit Enter. And I'm going to go up to my list 1. I'll hit the Clear button and Enter to get rid of that information. And I'll go back up to list 1, hit Clear, and Enter. And now you have a fresh start for when you want to do your practice.